Hey guys, it's Levi here, and in this video I will teach you everything, but then everything about the player lock. So we will talk obviously about the player lock in offense, but there is a little secret new thing in EAFC 24 where you can also use the player lock in defense. So make sure to watch this whole video. So obviously the player lock in offense, as you guys should know, you have so many variety to use it. First of all, obviously you perform it by pressing your left analog stick and your right analog stick at the same time. After you've done that, you will see a little thing above your player which is changing. This means you can switch to a different player on the pitch to make a run with or to receive the ball with, whatever you want. So you can even switch it to multiple players. For example, if you have the ball with your right back, you press L3 and R3 at the same time, you can switch to your right winger, but you can also switch to your center mid, for example. This makes the player lock as good as it is and also really unpredictable for your opponent. Some little thing you guys should know, I know I get this question really often, the player lock doesn't work. You have to go to your settings, obviously, go to player lock, make sure it's on, and then you will be able to perform the player lock. Something else that makes the player lock as good as it is that you can play every single pass that is in the game with the player lock. So you will be able to play a normal X pass with the player lock. You will be able to play a normal triangle. You will be able to play a normal square pass. You will be able to play a L1 square pass. You will be able to play a L1 triangle, etc. Just every pass that is in the game, you need to keep in mind, you will be able to perform it with the player lock. I think the player lock, especially now in pro games where the level is so tight and most of the times the games are just 50-50, the player lock is something that could break the deadlock because it's just so unpredictable. Your opponent doesn't know what you're gonna do. For example, if you make a run with the player you switch to, you maybe try to get into the ball and you can run away again and try to go for the pass like in behind. And obviously the runs your players are making just natural aren't always the best, and by using the player lock it will be way harder for your opponent to defend, obviously, because your team will make a lot of runs. Same goes for triggering players. If you ask me, triggering players and player locks are the two things that are most important when it comes to getting speed in your build-up, for example, and getting the most out of your attacks. Something else that isn't noticed enough, in my opinion, is that if you play your player lock pass, or for example cross, doesn't matter, just anything with a player lock, the lock on you get with your player normally is way better than if you play it normal. Like for example, just a normal square pass is way worse than when you put it with a player lock. I don't know why, it is just in the game, it is just like that. But that's something you guys should keep in mind, and that's something that makes the player lock as good as it is. For me, the player lock is something I try to utilize as much as possible, and it's one of the only things you can use basically everywhere on the pitch. In the build-up it's really good, but also in the final third it's really good. I think in all these clips there are a lot of different examples. Make sure to watch them, and if you really want to learn, watch them over and over again, so you get it into your brain. Only thing I can say is that the player lock really makes a difference between an average player and a really good player. And as I mentioned before, also in the pro scene, making use of this player lock feature is something that really makes the difference in these games. So if you're just a regular weekly league player and you are able to master this, I'm sure it will get you to your higher rank soon enough. Obviously, maybe even the thing I forgot to tell, but probably is the best thing about the player lock, you can do it with literally every single player on the pitch. Like skill move doesn't matter, weak foot, anything just doesn't matter. You can just perform with every player on the pitch, which obviously makes it easy to practice as well, because you don't need to have R9 or Ronaldo, for example. You can just practice it with every player you have, and you can just use it with every single player that is on the game. As I told you guys in the intro, there is a new little trick in EAFC 24 which mainly is very good to stop conceding crosses. Obviously Team of the Year Haaland is new into the game. Crosses are becoming a bit of the new meta, I would say, and the way to defend this is by performing the player lock as well. The first thing, as I mentioned before, the lock on you get when you perform a player lock is better. So this also means for headers. The other thing, sometimes when you try to clear a ball when your opponent is crossing it in, it would just clear it straight into his feet. That's one of the most annoying things that can happen. But by performing the player lock, you can switch to the player you want to receive it. And this makes the pass way better. The chances of you getting the ball into your feet instead of you clearing it and it falls for your opponent is also way bigger. So I would say this is quite hard to master, but maybe for the average or maybe above average players who are watching this video right now, I would really recommend to practice this. The player lock in offense is more important, but this is definitely something extra you could master. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys learned a lot about the player lock. Make sure to like, subscribe obviously, and if you don't want to miss out on any of these videos anymore, make sure to turn on your notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.